Not being judgy, but do you spend more time organizing your tasks or chasing status updates than you do actual work? Look into Rike. It's a smart work management platform that automates everyone's mess. Go to wrike.com/TMM to check it out.
Welcome to the Marketing Millennials, the No BS Marketing Podcast. I'm Daniel Murray, and join me for unfiltered conversations with the brains behind marketing's coolest companies. The one request I tell our guests, stories or it didn't happen. Get ready to turn the up.
We are back with another episode of the Marketing Millennials podcast, and I have a very special guest today. I have Bettina. She's the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer of this 2026 FIFA World Cup host committee. I'm super excited about this because the U.S. gets the FIFA World Cup this year, and also, not to mention, you're from Argentina, so you're defending champions. Won 4 years ago, so that's pretty cool as well. But welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. I am incredibly excited about this World Cup, not only on a professional level, my involvement, but on a personal level too. So my worlds are certainly colliding. So we'll see how Argentina does, but of course also rooting for the US. But yeah, very excited to be here.
You're originally from Argentina, and you got your master's at NYU, and then you spent 15 years at Ketchum, and then you founded your own consulting, and now you're at this job, which is awesome. Does this feel like the destination job, or was this like the next chapter job that you decided to take?
I will say, having spent my entire career on the agency side, I always told myself, if I ever transition to the brand side or in-house, it would need to be for a brand, a cause, a moment that I truly would be passionate about to make that leap. And this was exactly that. It was exactly that. So you could say, obviously this is my first in-house role. I'm just nurtured now to continue to think client service in everything that I do, because I've been doing that for more than 20 years. So now that that role has switched for me, but it's great because now in a way I have different clients, right? Which are all the stakeholders that are involved in this journey of putting this World Cup and hosting this World Cup in the region. So for me, it was that leap that I needed, and just so fitting for everything that I've done throughout my career too. And I would say, yeah, it's a dream job. I won't sugarcoat it. This is a dream job. A dream opportunity comes, once in a lifetime. It truly is a once in a generation moment that we're all about to experience in less than 30 days. So it was one of those opportunities I couldn't refuse.
So you spent the 20 years on the agency side, like you work with P&G, Frito-Lay, Unilever, Pfizer. And those are some of like the most disciplined marketing organizations in the world. But now you're becoming like the client, and you're like the one setting the brief. So what's the biggest thing from those blue chip clients that taught you about marketing rigor that you brought to this role?
Yeah, I will say we, as the host committee, obviously we were established as we were a created, entity of sorts, right? Because we're such a unique region where we're 2 in 1. So it was a united bid between the state of New Jersey, the city of New York came together, and an organization had to be formed in order to execute this. Whereas, for example, in other host cities, like LA, for example, they have an LA Sports Commission. So they just took on the World Cup as just kind of another big project of theirs, right? Just like the LA Olympics, et cetera. So I will say it's, to your point, bringing all these best practices, having worked with very sophisticated brands and their processes, and now applying it to almost where we're a bit of a startup, the way we're functioning as a team, right? As an organization, as an institution, we're a startup, but we're also working alongside FIFA, which has been around forever and has their ways of conducting themselves, et cetera. So it is a bit of a mishmash, but I feel that having worked on such large brands, that, you know, there's been a crossover in everything that I've done, across sports, lifestyle, you name it. So it has taught me a lot about, you know, applying that structure, applying that rigor, applying, quite frankly, that speed of just getting things done and being incredibly resourceful. And it's been, you know, honestly, it's been critical to, you know, me sharing that with my team at the host committee too. Everyone's coming with different experiences and different walks of life, but having kind of that big brand experience working with IATs, et cetera, right? Just seeing that full bigger picture, I think really has made that transition as smooth as possible.
And I know you worked from the agency side on Brazil and Qatar World Cups. What's something you thought you understood about the event from the outside, but like is completely different now that you're inside the host committee? Like, what is like things that you thought were true but aren't true?
Yeah, I mean, I will say an event of this scale, I've always seen it from the outside. And the unique part is, so when I worked on the World Cup 2014 Brazil, that was via a client. At the time, P&G was our client, Gillette under P&G. It was exciting. It was through a very reputable brand. And it was the year that Gillette announced Lionel Messi as their global brand ambassador. We launched, you know, country flag razors. It was exciting. It was seeing it from that perspective, right? One just focuses on, all right, the brand, your mission, what you're trying to achieve, etc. When I've had the opportunity to work on this previous World Cup in Qatar, our client was the host committee. So essentially our client was who I am now, which is really interesting. Mm-hmm. The host committee was the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy was their official name, much fancier than ours. And we were helping them more in the sense of positioning, you know, the Middle East and them as a critical point for a destination, right? And for those to enjoy everything that the destination had to offer. So again, that was the first one was through a brand. The second opportunity was through working directly with the host committee of Qatar. And now it's truly full circle. Now being on the inside and seeing that I obviously in the other two roles wasn't exposed to just the operational dynamic and I will say opportunities of what it takes to truly put something like this together. The World Cup, you know, obviously as a host committee, we are responsible for transportation, security, fan engagement, economic development, right? And in those previous roles, I would just see it potentially just from one lens, right? From more of the kind of the consumer fan facing lens. Now being able to see it on the back end, right? The behind the curtain of just how intrinsic and complex every little detail is and how everything is so interconnected that, transportation has been in the works for years, but I don't think your the average person would know that, right? Or security. This is more than just, it's more than just kind of having one of those, electronic things you walk through. Like this is Homeland Security. This is FBI. This is regional law enforcement. This is city law enforcement. This is, and then times two, right? When we're talking about our region specifically, it's New Jersey State Police on one side, it's NYPD on the other. So it is an incredible ecosystem to see this come to life from the inside that I've been completely wowed by.
I know your audience spans from like a 9-year-old kid in the Bronx to a Brazilian tourist to like a first generation immigrant family to the Queens who's never been to MetLife, or a corporate executive. So how do you actually approach like segmentation and messaging with such a broad audience?
We are, yes. I mean, at the onset of my role, as soon as I started, was to put together a pretty comprehensive audience segmentation analysis together, messaging architecture document to help kind of guide the team in how we're reaching each of these different audiences. And, for us, at the end of the day, and everything that we're doing is the scale at which we're operating. You stop thinking about engagement as a metric and start thinking about it more as a behavior. Because for us, to your point, it's reaching a wide range of audiences, right? People aren't just also watching the World Cup. They're reacting to it. They're creating around it. They're organizing their lives around it, right? It's touching a lot of people in very different ways. And we're trying to be super, at the end of the day, that the universal emotion is that excitement. And this is, the World Cup is a stage and the people are the story, right? And it's just making sure that that universal emotion that touches everyone is typically consistent, but then how we're reaching them is very tailored to them. So, for the child in the Bronx, right, that you mentioned, part of what we're trying to do is show up in the right places and ensure that everybody feels the World Cup, that the World Cup, we're bringing the World Cup to them versus them having to go out and seek it. We also can't be everywhere, right? We also understand that not everyone will be able to get a seat at MetLife, right? But it's what are we doing to bring that energy and excitement throughout the region. And in the Bronx, for example, we're doing a lot of legacy driving efforts, installing mini pitches and things like that, but also bringing a fan zone there. So that child that you mentioned, if that child and his or her family cannot actually go to MetLife, they'll still be able to enjoy it, right? And it's speaking to them and giving them a reason to choose to be a part of it. Then you've got the Brazilian fan that would sell his soul and life savings to come to a World Cup. And trust me, because I know as an Argentinian, people do that, which is absolutely bonkers. And those reaching them, the way we're reaching them is through the diaspora communities in the region, working with those fan bases that do exist here, right? And working with those creators that they can influence that group. We also have our external affairs team that is handling communications, right, with the consulates and that sort of thing. So it is our audiences vary greatly. And I would say I've never worked on such a complex project that there are too many stakeholders to even categorize. Mm-hmm. And it's just ensuring that we are being we're over communicating everything that we're doing. And also listening, right? It's listening to how, when we are talking to the consulates, for example, how they want to reach their audiences. They obviously have that in with that community that's here, right? How can they help us disseminate information that we want to share, right? And it's making sure that we're doing all that in the right way. Some are more, consumer friendly, fan fun, speak across what we're doing on social, et cetera. And the others are more, important information that people need to know if they're making plans to come here.
You have so many priorities under your belt, and this seems like you have like PR, you have brand management, you're dealing with logistics, you have all this stuff. Like, how did you actually like manage those priorities, and like what does like success look like at the end of the day? Like, if you said I define success for this role, like what does that actually look like?
If your boss has ever said who approved this copy because they signed off on it a month ago, you might need some ops help. If your campaigns get delayed because no one can find the brief, the assets, or the approvals, you definitely do. Reich kills the disconnects. It's a smart work management platform that automates the chaos for the whole team in one place. With visual collaboration, resource planning, and the insights to make everything better and quicker every time. Go to Reich.com/TMM to see how teams at Lyft, Ogilvy, NVIDIA use it. That's WRIKE.com/TMM.
Okay, so to answer your first question, I would say it's obviously it's a team behind all this, and we have an incredible team. We have additional extensions of our team and agencies that are helping us as well, and we each have our lanes, so to speak, but the way we're working is very collaborative. And I would say from a marketing and comms perspective, that's a discipline that, quite frankly, touches all, right? It's horizontal. It touches everything. If we're doing something with sponsors, we're there. If we're doing something with, transportation and announcing our, newest whatever, we're there. Security, right? The know before you goes, we're there. We truly, right? We truly are part of the entire operation now. Obviously not the specifics, but it's understanding how truly we are operating holistically. And there's an incredible team that we put into place that are experts in their own fields. And yeah, it's at the end of the day, I know this is super cliche, but it's not losing sight of that goal, right? And for me, look, at the end of the day, our job isn't to sell tickets to the matches. They're going to sell. Our job is to ensure that if someone participated in something or felt included in something that we have put out there or offered that they wouldn't have otherwise engaged in, that's a win. And we're trying to do that. We're trying to do that. We, and in multiple ways, we're trying to engage with local businesses in unique ways and doing things that, quite frankly, we're the only host city that we're doing this really regional Welcome World Rewards program, we've called it. And it's basically a rewards gamification program where it's free for businesses to participate that opt in. They'll be part of a platform, and fans are encouraged to explore the region beyond the typical attractions that one typically goes to. But it's encouraging that exploration so local businesses can benefit from the influx. And we've included some pretty high incentive prizes as part of that. Tickets to matches, even tickets to the final, which are incredibly hard to get because we really want to encourage people to explore local businesses. So the more people check in at different businesses, they accumulate points, they can redeem those points towards either a scarf or accumulate more points to get a higher, ranking prizes. So there's a lot that we're doing. And so, for example, to answer your question, and this is an explanation, an example of how if we're getting someone engaged in something they wouldn't otherwise, then that's a win for us. And in this case, it's a local business. If they're engaging and opting into this program, that's success. We've launched this I think maybe 3 weeks ago, the call to action for local businesses to sign up. It's a quick 5-minute form. They're in. There's a couple categories, obvious ones that we can't obviously promote them, but otherwise, for the most part, everyone gets accepted as part of it. And we've got over like 1,000 businesses in the region already. And, it's still, the opportunity for business to sign up is still open till May 22nd. So that's the type of energy. If they participated, that's for us a success. Because they otherwise wouldn't have, and they perhaps would have been just kind of waiting there in hopes that fans kind of visit their businesses. So we're excited about that. And that's kind of what drives at least my side of the world. And then, yes, it's another example. It's the fan engagement work that we're doing and the official fan events that we're hosting. It's, again, someone that didn't otherwise think of or cared to go. If they participated, that's success, right? For us and for me specifically, this entire role for me has been, I measure it as more as participation is the new reach for me versus just, okay, they heard about the World Cup, whatever. It's actually, are they participating and are you connecting with your different audiences in unique ways that are tailored to them?
Yeah. Also, I want to go into some of these campaigns too, because I know this fan engagement would be doing some cool things like the Sonic ID. And that's one of the coolest things I've seen a host committee do, like commissioning Take a Day Trip. And you basically created like an audio identity deployed across like airports, transit hubs, digital platforms. So where did the idea come from that? And what are some things that you looked at? Like, let's start with where did that idea come from, that Sonic ID?
That was working alongside FIFA, where there's the one ID, the track, which is the general World Cup 2026 track. And they've asked each host city to recreate it in our own style. So we commissioned Take a Day Trip to do that for us and create kind of a twist to it, right? You'll notice the Sonic ID in Houston and Dallas have a little bit of a country, twist to it, right? And things of that nature that make sense, that is representative to each of the host cities. So it's essentially that became the audio identity for our region for a while, because obviously that was before these new singles and tracks of the official FIFA sound have been launched. So we needed something to identify ourselves via kind of an audio track of sorts that's very unique to our region. And what we did, however, is once that was created, it's how can we ensure that we are taking over the waves, right, of the region. And when we launched it, I think that was the unique piece and an opportunity that I wanted to make sure we didn't miss. So the way we launched it was really unique. We worked with the MTA, the airports, wherever there could be a public place that had an audio system that could play sound. We also accompanied it with the official. There was an official kind of creative that goes along with it. So we set some kind of out of home, etc. But we essentially worked with different civic partners, which is, again, a great example of just collaboration and making and amplifying something and making it a bigger moment, right? And we did that as the official launch. If I could have put a huge speaker on top of the Empire State Building, I would have, but obviously that couldn't happen. But for us, it's right. Also, it gave us an opportunity to talk about the sounds of New York, New Jersey. We're the region that never sleeps, right? So there's always sound. So it allowed us to just take it a step further to not just talk about the Sonic ID and what it is, right? But it's more so to kind of tell a bigger story about who we are as a region and the hustle and bustle of this region. And so we extended it, and everything that I do and that the team does is ensuring that we don't just, it doesn't just stop there, right? It's how can we amplify this and make it even bigger? So we were really excited about that. And a similar campaign at the 1 year to go mark, which was last June, we've got our brand guidelines and our brand colors for the region specifically. It's the main color is, it looks like teal, but it's not exactly teal, but it's Liberty green for the Statue of Liberty. And for the 1 year out mark, what we also did is we took over the region, and any building that could be lit up any color. We worked with the Empire State Building in this case, because that's what they do. But even public buildings, state buildings down in Trenton, and even private buildings. It was great to just see that excitement of a simple ask to, the appropriate team members at each of these places asking, do they want to be part of this collective effort? And on the night of June 11th, 2025, let's light up Liberty Green, right? That was our moment to really come out and say the World Cup is a year away, right? And now it's kind of crazy to think that it's less than, I can actually say, next month.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things that, again, we always try to make bigger or make moments out of what you might think is mundane.
I think also another campaign I want you to talk about, and I want you to go a little bit, is like how you launched the poster. Because I think you did it in such a cool way, which you could have just like slapped it in Times Square at first, but you did it in a really unique way that felt really like authentic to the region. Do you want to like go into like how that you launched the poster for this the city?
First, it was who would create it for us. We knew that for this World Cup, it's very unique because we each host city had an opportunity to create your unique poster that's representative. And of course, we wanted to identify someone that's from the region. What's unique about us too, we're 2 in 1. So it's always, we need to be thinking about both sides of the Hudson. And we found an incredible artist, Rich Tu. He was raised in New Jersey, but then lives in New York and Brooklyn. He was great and perfect for this. He's also first generation American. His family's from the Philippines. So we started thinking about, okay, this is everything that we have to work with. How can we truly stand apart and do something unique versus just an unveiling kind of press moment? So then we started looking at different venues. What could we do simultaneously to really make a bigger splash? And we found that there's an actual poster museum in New York City. And I didn't know this existed till we launched the poster, for example. And we're like, wow, wouldn't it be really cool to launch our official poster at the Poster Museum in New York City? So we approached them, and they were completely thrilled and such great partners in this. And we identified a date that made sense, etc. And we hosted a very, almost like an art gala opening type of event, where we launched it there and it actually became part of their museum. It's one of their official posters now, that they're exhibiting. And that, again, was another example for us to truly showcase, like, how unique is that we as a region, New York City has a poster museum. So it helped also elevate the arts and the other artists that make up this unique city. But what we also decided to do is, okay, what else could we do? And we looked at just Rich as an artist himself. He has such a great story to tell. Even the way he describes how he created the poster, the different elements he included that are representative of who he is as an individual, but also the region. And then I wanted to do something a little more, very New York-esque, and do something kind of cool that people would remember. And, we did, some wheat pasting of the poster, like the good old times when you start, kind of plastering them up on concrete walls. but it was not just that, it was the wear that made it really unique. We decided to do that in Jersey City because Jersey City, their Filipino diaspora is the highest of the country. And it was just such a perfect place to do this. So we tied that story as well. It was a passionate kind of personal project of Rich's as well, and to be able to invite his fellow Filipinos that happen to live in Jersey City. But obviously we made it a kind of a public moment with influencers and creators, and that helped it kind of elevate it one step further too. And at the same time, while we unveiled it at the poster house, about maybe 20 seconds later, we had it all timed. We had a live stream at the poster house of the poster being unveiled to the world in Times Square. So, as the place that, everyone kind of, you're attracted to Times Square for what it is and the ball drop and all that. So yeah, we created something intimate as an exclusive unveil, but then unveiled it to the world via, putting it up on one Times Square, which was unique. So it was a combination of very grassroots community, very exclusive arts community, the poster house, that's the name of the museum, and then of course sharing it with the world, and where else but from Times Square.
I love that what you're doing is, and you have to do this, but I love that you're incorporating the New York vibes and the New Jersey vibes. And I think one thing that I think you did too is how you decided to pick your ambassadors for this. So you have a two-time world champion. I know you have someone who plays for Gotham FC. I know you have a New York Knicks player. So I know those aren't random choices why you chose these the ambassadors, but why did you choose people from all different sports to be the ambassadors for these two cities?
Yes, I'm really excited about this one too, and they're doing this out of their own good heart, right? It's just because they are proud to represent the region. So yes. So the first one, well, not in any particular order, but so Eli Manning, quintessential New York Giant. Super thrilled that he's a part of this, and he's always been such a fan, right, of the region, just given his role in the Giants, but also he's just such a great, charismatic, humble guy. And we wanted a representative of, obviously his credentials alone speak for themselves, but he loves other sports and he loves having fun, right? And he loves, he understands the energy, and what this World Cup is going to bring to the region, and also particularly where he has played for so many seasons, is the stadium that is going to be hosting 8 matches, including the final. So obviously his cachet there obviously speaks volumes. So we're really excited about him. And then we've got Midge Purse, obviously a champion as well from Gotham. And we wanted to, obviously, the growth of the sport as a whole in the U.S. and women's soccer just has been growing exponentially as well. And she's so great. She's just a great representative of the region, and super excited about this too. And also she her home base is Sports Illustrated Stadium, which has recently become a fan hub for us. So we're super excited about that. And then Josh Hart. So yes, he's very busy right now and hopefully continues to bring us joy. So, and he's again as well, we a New Yorker that is proud New Yorker that brings that swagger, and we wanted a kind of a diverse set of individuals. That this first group all happen to be in sports. That was intentional, but we might be bringing on additional a couple more before next month that might be beyond the sports world, but are very quintessential to the region. So we're working with them to help us with the community aspect of things and bringing kind of surprise and delight to different communities. And yeah, we're really excited about it. They're just such a great trio to have gone out with.
It's crazy how many things you're getting done in such a short period of time. But I wanted you to talk a little bit how the Airbnb partnership came about. I think it's pretty cool because it's like a 3-year partnership that you did with them, and it seems like it's just more than like a logo slap partnership because they're doing so much, like the 1,000 tickets for the youth. So how did that partnership come about, and how are you? Are you guys working together to make that partnership come alive?
So we have partnered with U.S. Soccer Foundation, and it was a commitment of ours to install 26 mini pitches throughout the region in underrepresented communities as part of the partnership with U.S. Soccer Foundation. We've been doing a lot with them. And then Airbnb came along and they said, we really, really want to be a part of this because for them, the legacy is key. So in partnership with Airbnb, so they will be installing an additional 5 mini pitches, and one of them, which we did the groundbreaking, was up in the Bronx, which is really exciting. And again, to your point, it's more than just kind of slapping a logo. It's truly, certain brands are very invested in the community and giving back to the community and how they can become involved. And it's a unique partnership because we would love to do this everywhere, right? But there's some, investments incurred. So it's, having that support from different partners that are willing to support, I think is great.
Lastly, I want to ask you, when July 20th hits, because I think that's the day after the World Cup final, how do you build that legacy narrative now? What is that legacy narrative when the World Cup ends? What does that look like?
So come the 20th, there's different components of our legacy plan. There's different pillars. So economic development is obviously one of them, but it won't be as immediate as knowing July 20th, right? But we did commission a study with Tourism Economics last year to just get a sense of the expected influx of visitors, job creation and economic impact that this World Cup would have in our region specifically. And there's more than 3 billion in economic impact that's expected. Those numbers, we're hoping to kind of, get a sense of that once the tournament ends, but those will, that's one of those that we won't be able to measure immediately, right? But what we can measure is the number of participants and local businesses that have participated in the Welcome World program and things that are quicker, right? The data that's quicker to gather. It's also too, we're going to be working with all our civic partners and administrations from both sides of the Hudson as well to truly analyze kind of the after effects of all this and its economic impact, its growth of the sport. There's a Yes Coach program that we're in partnership with them on. Have there been more coaches? It's a volunteer coach program. Have there been more signups to that just after this, riding the wave of just the World Cup excitement and kind of the growth of the sport? It's going to be one of those things that we won't be able to immediately measure the impact, but we will soon after, closer to end of year. But for us, it's across a variety of different pillars that we're going to be looking at. And again, if we've had a safe and efficient World Cup that people engaged in that otherwise wouldn't have, that's for us a win. And we're hoping that everyone feels the effects of that.
And then I want to ask you lastly, because I asked everybody in this podcast, what's a marketing hill you would die on?
For me, it's the best campaigns are built on invisible preparation. And I've 100% witnessed that with my own two eyes of everything that is going on behind the scenes that people might not see. And when it comes to marketing, I really live by just agility is earned through preparation, and having that comms background that I do as well. That really lands with everything that I do. And I look at everything through that lens. So, everyone typically sees the output, but I feel that it's that preparation that no one sees is what truly made that output as successful as it is. So for me, it's making sure to have that, to not like kind of lose sight of that, because the stronger that foundation is in preparation, then the stronger that output. So that's just more of how I operate. But just in general terms, I will say for me, what I've been kind of preaching is participation is the new reach. Whether that's participating, doing something digitally, participating physically by going somewhere, it's no longer just about reaching people. It's, are they opting to be a part of something that you've built? So hopefully we all are. And then it's a success.
Yeah. I mean, those were like three banger lines of their invisible preparation, which is so true that people don't see the behind the scenes, the things that are moving, all those moving parts that make such a, they're going to see the fan experiences. They're going to see, they saw the Sonic campaign, they saw the poster, they're going to see something that feels such smooth. But there's so many those moving parts, like you said, the security, the working with the poster museum had to go perfectly. The Empire State had to go perfectly. The pitches had to be built, and all these things are millions of thousands of people working together to make sure that all that goes perfectly, which is amazing. Where can people find you and your journey and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, no, I encourage people I'm on LinkedIn. I'm a proponent of that. I'm on there pretty active, sharing everything that we've been doing. So happy to connect with folks through there. And then just on a tournament level and what we're doing in the region. So I'd encourage people to visit our website. There's a lot of information there. We'll be launching next week a pretty innovative platform within the website. It's embedded within the website. It's a widget. The World Cup concierge. It's more than just an AI chatbot. This is being very intuitively run with via Google and Neuron, some partners that we have to help put the mechanics together. But essentially, any and all questions as far as I'm looking for a Brazilian restaurant that's open until 2 a.m. on July 3rd. It takes the queries that much deeper than, what's happening today, right? So we're really excited about that because it truly will be something that we're hoping people utilize to make their trips and their experience in the region that much easier. It's also going to be available in 60 languages. It's going to be great. Visit our website, follow our socials to stay up to date with, different programming that's going to be happening at all the fan zones that we're doing around the region and all the exciting stuff. And then, on a personal level, I'm on LinkedIn. So
thank you so much for joining. This is super exciting, and I'm excited to see how it all unfolds. And I bet it's going to be amazing. And I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening. Keep tuning in to hear more great insights from the coolest marketers from around the world. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and follow the Marketing Millennials podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, I would greatly appreciate you giving us a 5-star rating. It helps bring more marketers into our community.